like that at age 58. So I want to get that out the way first. But I wanted to get to a bigger point. Because the time comes, somewhat pun intended, for us to take the gloves off when it comes to Jake Paul. Now, unlike people who worked with me, unlike people who are friends and colleagues, what have you, I didn't find it funny.
It's kind of weird because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank.
That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him.
Yes.
He recognizes that he's too big for him.
Stephen A. Smith didn't hold back when he blasted Jake Paul for taking on Gervonta Davis. He said Jake is far too big for Tank and keeps choosing easy fights that don't truly test him. Smith called this matchup one-sided and uncompetitive, accusing Jake of chasing safe wins rather than real challenges that could prove his boxing ability.
That was Mike Tyson. Now you're going into the ring against a cat that's 228. He's a young lion, and no matter what questions may exist about Jake Paul and his ability to box real boxers, because we haven't really seen that yet from him, we don't question his power. We know he's got power.
Stephen A. Smith later asked Gervonta Davis's coach who he believes deserves to face Tank next. Without hesitation, the coach said anyone who's spoken negatively about Davis should step up, mentioning names like Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez. For him, it's about respect and accountability. Those who doubt Tank should feel his power firsthand. He wants critics silenced not through words, but inside the ring, where Davis's dominance speaks loudest.
To Baltimore the whole bit. Who do you want to see Tank fight?
I want him to get all of them that ran their mouth.
Give me the names. I need names, Calvin. I need names.
You already know. We went down. We working on the big four. It was Garcia. That's the first one. Roma, I hope we get him soon. Shakur, he's going to get it. He knows he's going to get it. It's just Bob is in charge of that. You know what I'm saying? Bob know what he's doing over there. You can't tell Bob how to run his game because he's like a vet at this. He's been doing it for so many years. That's going to happen. All the fights that we'll want, they have no choice. They're going to take the fight when it's time to take the fight. It's just right now who's going to take the fight.
Comedian Aries Spears shared his unfiltered view, calling the fight more of a performance than a sporting contest. Still, he believes in Tank's precision and strength, predicting a knockout by round 3. Spears mocked the circus-like build-up yet praised Davis's killer instinct. His take reflects many fans' feelings, disbelief at the matchup, but fascination with how brutally Tank might end it.
Up is Tank Davis versus Jake Paul.
Oh, this is such a circus.
Yeah. Look, according to BetOnline.ag, Gervonta Davis is favored -240, Jake Paul's +190. So more than twice the odds for Davis. Davis is a lot smaller, but he's a real serious fighter.
I'm predicting a third-round knockout.
Ooh. Third round knockout.
He's out of there. Listen, I don't know what's the bigger joke, that fight or Tyson versus Floyd Mayweather.
We'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, this is honestly just disappointing. As a boxing fan, to just keep seeing these circuses happen over and over again.
I don't know if the rumor's true, but I heard Floyd was talking about coming out of retirement to fight Crawford. Now that's got some panache to it.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
I think Floyd will end up taking a loss.
Finally.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
He'd mess up that record.
Yeah, and I would respect him for it because we know how much he's tried to protect the record. Take the risk. This is what great fighters are supposed to do.
Yeah, but it's interesting because people were saying that Terrence Crawford should retire because he's, 43-0 at this point?
Okay.
He's 37 years old. I personally don't
But he still got the goods, though.
Oh, he's got the goods.
Yeah, he still got the goods.
Because Canelo was a monster. Had been dominating for a while.
Right.
And he only had 2 losses, one of which was Mayweather, very early in his career. But this whole Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis thing, just because Gervonta was supposed to fight Roach. It was supposed to be a rematch because it was, I believe, a draw last time.
Yeah.
So you go and fight Jake Paul instead? I'm sure it's a much bigger bag. I'm sure it's a much bigger bag.
And clearly that's what it's about. It's the bag, you know?
Yeah. I mean, pretty soon they're going to have Denzel Washington fighting somebody. Like, you know, they're going to start putting, like, old men. I mean, they're already putting old men in the ring.
As long as before the fight, Denzel looks at his watch and goes, 16 seconds. I'm with it.
Stephen A. Smith urged boxing to move beyond spectacle fights. He said Gervonta Davis should focus on real, legacy-defining matchups like a Ryan Garcia rematch or bouts against Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson. According to Smith, fans deserve meaningful fights that test Tank's greatness and restore boxing's true competitive spirit, not exhibition shows that do nothing for his career.
I want to see him fight a Teofimo Lopez, somebody like that, that's got some power, somebody that has the potential to inflict some pain upon him, because I don't know if anybody can do it. And I've totally lost it with David Haney. After what I saw Ryan Garcia do to him, even though Ryan Garcia was a bit...
A growing number of boxing analysts are frustrated with Jake Paul's career path. They claim his fights are designed for clicks, not competition. Critics say he picks mismatched opponents to generate hype rather than prove his skill. While his events attract millions, purists argue that the spectacle overshadows authenticity, reducing him to a showman instead of a genuine contender.
That was that. This time, Jake Paul is to take on Tank Davis. Tank Davis, he was recently in the news for being arrested for a domestic violence incident involving one of his kids' mother. He was alleged to have slapped her about the place. The charges were later dropped, to be fair to him. But yeah, that was when he was last in the news. What is interesting is just a couple of months ago, Tank Davis was saying openly that he lost his passion for boxing and that he wanted time away from the sport. There was speculation that he might even retire as he was experiencing extreme mental fatigue from boxing, depression, and there were mental health concerns over him. However, I guess the opportunity to earn a truck full of money, fighting a completely worthless exhibition fight against Jake Paul was enough to make him change his mind about boxing. Funny that, isn't it? But you know what? I'm not even going to waste your time or mine critiquing this utter nonsense. Suffice to say that this so-called fight we're talking about is an exhibition, and it pits Jake Paul, who is a cruiserweight, by the way, weighs in excess of 200 pounds. And Tank Davis, who is, he was the WBA lightweight champion, who weighs in at about 135 pounds when he fights. So that's a disparity of some 65 pounds. In old money, that's about 4.5 stone. There's also a significant difference in height. Jake Paul is roughly, 6'1", 2. Gervonta Davis is 5'5" at best. So, there's a height disparity there of some 8 inches. And once again, this is Jake Paul showing total.
Many analysts now believe Gervonta Davis's team is prioritizing money over legacy. His fight with Jake Paul seems driven by profit, not prestige. The pairing guarantees massive pay-per-view sales but raises concerns that boxing is becoming entertainment first, sport second. Traditionalists fear Tank's legacy could fade if money keeps outweighing meaningful competition.
Look at how Tank started acting after he made $40 million with Ryan. When he make another $40+ million with Jake,
he's gonna go make $40 million fighting Jake Paul, and then he's gonna come back and fight Lamont Road for what? He's gonna come back and fight Shakur Stevenson for what? He's not gonna fight none of those guys.
No, the only way he fight any of them guys, Turkey gonna have to hit him with the Crawford money. Cause that's the thing, you do this for a reason, bro. Like, I get it, you want him to be competitive, but his goal is money. He made 40 with Ryan plus everything in between. Now he get this 40, 50 million plus. He don't even gotta fight no more. So now if you want him to fight Shakur, give me that Canelo money, man.
Jeff Mayweather questioned the logic of the Davis-Paul matchup, citing the dangerous size and weight gap. He said Jake's natural frame gives him an unfair advantage and that such mismatches damage boxing's credibility. Even with Davis's skill, Jeff believes this fight crosses the line between competition and spectacle, showing promoters' willingness to sacrifice fairness for money.
Extremely bigger than Tank, and but with it being exhibition, it makes sense. It's fine. He got a big name that he's going to be fighting, but it really makes no sense because he's going to be weighing over 200 and some pounds. Tank's going to probably be when maybe at the most 147, 150. So I don't even understand why the fight's happening.
Carl Froch didn't hold back either. He called the fight absurd, slamming Jake Paul for targeting smaller fighters like Davis instead of facing real heavyweights. Froch argued that Jake's strategy exposes his true motives, viral fame and easy wins. He warned that such mismatches erode the sport's integrity, turning boxing into a sideshow built for clicks, not respect.
Eddie Hearn announced 99% done, which we've just spoke about. What next for AJ? Potentially Jake Paul. But it now looks like that Jake Paul is fighting one of Anthony Joshua's legs. He's fighting Gervonta Davis, somebody who's a quarter of his size. I don't even know what's going on. Has Eddie Hearn been played? Let me know what you think, but the AJ fight with Jake Paul's finished. Gervonta Davis, fake Paul, November. I don't know what's going on in the world of boxing. This is an absolute joke. What next for AJ? We'll get into this, and there's so many questions I want to get into in the next episode, but hope you enjoyed this one. And yeah, I just thought I'd give you a quick update because the news has just come in and I'm just trying to relax and play a bit of golf and I can't. I've got to get it off my chest. I'm going to add it to this video. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit like, share and subscribe to the best channel in the business, Froch on Fighting, and we'll see you very soon.
Daniel Cormier also condemned the fight, saying it lacks real sporting value. He highlighted that Jake's massive size advantage eliminates competition and poses safety risks. For Cormier, the fight symbolizes how boxing's focus on spectacle is replacing skill and honor. He warned that this obsession with showmanship threatens to strip boxing of its proud traditions.
That's bad. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him.
Yes.
He recognizes that he's too big for him.
I'm wondering how this even came about. It can't be that Gervonta Davis needs money. That can't be the reason why
he's been a world champion so recently. How could he be broke?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is he doing this for money? And then why and how is even Jake Paul doing this when no one respects it? Like, I can't think of anybody that respects this.
But Jake Paul has been able to carve out and make his own lane in boxing, and I've never seen anything like it, bro. He literally, I mean, we don't know what weight class he fights in any situation. We just don't know. He kind of makes his own rules.
He makes his own rules.
And it seems like people are playing by those rules. I remember a couple weeks ago, the WBC and the Jose Sulaiman was very upset that he wasn't going to be able to put the belt on the winner at Canelo versus Crawford. That's the thing that's happened since the beginning of the time. Those guys are very powerful in boxing. But with Zuffa boxing, it was almost like that power was getting stripped away. They were very disappointed. But how can you take those sanctioning organizations seriously when they are sanctioning this?
That's my point. That's my point. That's why I think that this whole thing that we have, this boxing and this MMA argument and Zuffa getting into boxing, our argument is misplaced because things like this should not be happening. And the fact that boxing is allowing this to happen is an embarrassment to the sport.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I talked about this before. Like, I didn't know why they were fighting because, I mean, Gervonta Davis's last fight was at 100.
Observers note that even the criticism fuels the fight's success. Promoters, networks, and even critics profit from the controversy. The irony is clear: every insult and debate boosts publicity and ticket sales. Modern boxing, it seems, thrives as much on outrage as competition, proving that spectacle has become the sport's biggest currency.
For fighting Jake Paul, but yet at the same time, he is going to fight Jake Paul. Now, what I find interesting is how people on one hand are going to criticize it, but on the other hand, try to take advantage of it for their own profit. So Shakur Stevenson, definitely for press purposes, definitely for publicity purposes, offers to get in the training camp and spar for Jake Paul. Spar Jake Paul for the Tank fight. Now, why would he be doing this? It's called copycat crap. Because the last big fight that took place, which was Terrence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez, guess what happened? Jaron Ennis went and sparred Canelo Alvarez to help Canelo Alvarez prepare for Terrence Crawford. So Do I think that is coincidental? No, I do not. I think that it is trying to have your cake and eat it too. You are trying to complain and say Gervonta Davis is not a real competitive fighter, that this is a sideshow, freak show fight, but yet you want your name associated with it and you want to participate in it for your own good gain. Let me assure you that when Terrence Crawford said in an interview that he wouldn't fight Jake Paul, that's not a serious fight, and then they said, well, would you fight Jake Paul for $200 million? And he said,
this fight, many say, represents boxing's identity crisis. Jake Paul's fame outweighs his pedigree, and Gervonta Davis's participation blurs the line between athlete and entertainer. Critics argue the sport is losing authenticity, while supporters claim it's evolving with the times. Either way, the matchup forces boxing to confront one question: is it still about greatness or just headlines?
Tank often weighs in light at 133.5 pounds. You know, he's 5'5", he's not a big guy. Okay, let's be honest, he's tiny. I could literally put him in my pocket. You know, he's a pocket rocket, but he's small. Yes, I know, I went too far. Let's move on. Jake's been fighting a cruiserweight, over 200 pounds. You know, he's 6'1". He's just a bigger guy, you know, a different beast. This is what Jake does. Love or hate him, he knows how to generate interest, get people talking. In his words, do the unthinkable. But guess what? People will tune in. What can I say? The guy's clever. He calls out AJ. The fight's looking likely. Everybody's outraged. Can't believe it. Then bang, he's fighting Tank. The man's half the size. He's done it again. Whether you like it or not, he's a marketing genius. He knows how to keep his name on your tongue. Everyone slated him for fighting Mike Tyson. I did too. He was fighting an old man with health problems. But guess what? I tuned in, and do you know why? Because curiosity killed the cat, and I wasn't alone. 100 million plus people tuned in.
And that wraps up today's coverage of the Davis vs. Paul saga, a clash that's dividing fans, shaking traditions, and redefining what boxing means in the modern era. Stay tuned for more updates as the story unfolds.